Everyone act natural. It's just the internet. It's more
Oh, the
afraid of
internet.
you than you are of it.
I have us on
I
3
was not
different
told there
screens.
would
I
be
don't.
internet here.
Why do you have us on so many screens? That sounds weird, and I don't like it for you.
I have Discord here, then I have OBS here, and then I have Twitch over here.
Oh,
Literally
see.
all the reasons.
I have
I
Discord
don't open
here
Twitch.
and
don't.
all of my web browser over here, including Twitch.
I have
Yeah, I
Um,
can't have Twitch
Just
open
it.
while I game. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
I
we might have
can't
to.
handle it.
Well, I put it under my character sheet.
yeah.
You just sit right there.
But hello, internet. How are you? I hope you are well. I hope this stream finds you well. And welcome to Wednesday Night Dice. It's
Well met.
midweek, and I know for me personally, it's been a week. It's been busy. So I've been very excited to roll some dice. I hope our resident nerds are also ready to roll some dice. Say hello, nerds.
Hello, nerds.
Hey,
Hello, nerds.
nerds.
I'm offended.
Yes, dance, my little puppets. Um,
Me and
before
Tina
we
have been driving
begin,
for the last 2 days, so we are super ready to roll some dice.
Yeah.
well, good. I hope I can think of something on the fly for you to do to roll dice. Before we begin, as always, I have a few announcements, a few shout outs. As always, thanks to Incarnate and Dungeon Alchemist, I make all of my battle maps uh, over there. Great tools, easy to use. Tons of fun stuff you can do over there. Foundry VTT, uh, big part of what we do. Maybe not tonight because I have no maps actually planned for this evening. Um, but anytime we do have maps, I need you players to be able to see them and the audience as well. Hero Forge, I make all of our miniatures on Hero Forge, and that's a fantastic tool. The community over there is amazing, and I don't know what kind of elite super hacks some of those people have to make impossible things happen for miniatures, but it's all great. Um, and we also cannot do anything without someone asking, "Oh, this person we're talking to, what's their name?" So, fantasy name generators is the very first tool in my toolbox whenever I am running a game or playing a game or prepping, because I need to know what things are called, whether that's characters, places, things, descriptions. You, I don't think fantasy name generators has never steered me wrong, and I have always found something that I can use, and I've always found what I need there. Um, and Monument Studios as well does all of our music. Um, More of that to come because I'm a bad person and it's been quiet the last couple of weeks.
In the new
Uh,
year.
in the new year, that is very much going to change, so stay tuned for that. And last but certainly not least, I'm trying to roll through these as quickly as I can. Um, the reason we're doing this in the first place, always all year round, raising money for the Extra Life Foundation, benefiting Children's Miracle Network hospitals, including Ann and Robert H. Lurie's Children's Hospital right here in Chicago. Um, so far we are creeping up on our goal. We're in very much the home stretch to hit our goal, and before the end of the year, we're trying to raise $3,000. I think we're at 23, 24, something like that so far. Um, and as always, the players and audience alike can affect the game in small ways with your donations this evening. Um, for the low price of $2 donations, you can grant any player of your choice advantage on their next die roll. Um, and in addition to that, I received word from a little birdie. A little birdie sent a message to me that Twitch is actually having a sale on bits and subs from now until January 2nd, at least through the end of this year. Um, and when you give bits and subs, two things are going to happen. I am going to say that for any sub that we get during a stream, uh, everybody in the party is going to get the effects of Bless until the end of that combat or the end of that roleplay scene, um, or some arbitrary amount of time that I decide later on after I change my mind. The other thing that is going to happen, if you give subs or bits, is that the Nerd House is going to match the full value of those bits and subs, even though they're on sale on Twitch right now. Nerd House is going to match the full value of those as Extra Life donations. So if you don't want to give to Extra Life directly, subscribe to the channel, and and we will match those at full value. So you get a little discount on the price, and that all still goes to help kids. Now, without further ado, there's been so much ado. Without further ado, we are going to begin this session a tiny bit differently than how we have in the past. We usually begin with some roleplay warm-up questions. We're going to do something very similar, but uh, as the party leaves the Dire Keg, you had spent, I believe, you spent 25 gold pieces at the Dire Keg drinking this evening. Um, Whether or not you are able to expense that to your mysterious benefactor remains to be seen. However, as you all go your separate ways at the end of the evening, returning to your respective homes, Rhodes, where the fuck do you live, bro?
Um, Zill lives in a tiny, and not just because he's a gnome, but a tiny, like studio apartment with not even a full kitchen, like a kitchenette, that's like above some shop where some shop owner basically took the second floor and turned it into two different micro studios and rents them out, and so he lives in one of those uh above a shop there.
Okay. Um, Tell me about the shop.
The shop is a uh basic like general store. It's not a particular anything. It's almost like it's not quite a bodega. It's just kind of a like I don't know. You need mustard, we got mustard. You need bullets, we probably have that too. Whatever you need, this random shopkeep just orders it and has it. It's one of those like you walk into this old building and it's just got like stuff piled high on shelves and you're like does the shopkeep possibly know where anything is? But this other tiny little rock gnome like can tell you exactly where every box is and every nook and cranny in this building of stuff he's crammed in there. And it's just sort of the I need something. I bet I can get it from here kind of place.
Okay. Um, that's very interesting. Actually, if only to have the town map up. All of you can log into Foundry, if you wish. Um, so yeah, you head home, and you have sort of a long walk back to your home. You guys are leaving the Dire Keg. The Dire Keg is at like the opposite corner of Skytown from where you live. You live in a little neighborhood that is fairly close to Deep Armory Keep. Hey, yeah.
You may. Firewall.
Oh, yeah. Hold, please. Hold,
Foundry.
please.
I was just about to ask the same thing.
And I think you're
I
muted.
think you're
Okay,
muted, Tina.
Discorded.
Discorded.
We're doing great, guys.
I know.
We're professional.
Like, nope, not muted.
Doop, doop, doop.
No.
Quick,
Oh,
entertain
here we go.
yourselves.
Try again.
Say again.
Not muted.
Not muted anymore.
My Discord apparently hates my headset, so I'm doing Rhodes's thing from last time.
I see.
I don't know how to fix it.
All right.
It's
Try getting
beyond
into Foundry
fixing.
now.
Okay,
Success.
there we go.
Okay. So, Zilny, you live, like I said, almost the opposite corner of um Skytown. You live not too far from Deep Armory Keep. Deep Armory Keep is not only the guild hall for the Deep Armory, but it also serves as almost like an embassy to the city. It's near the gate. Visiting it, it is a natural and good and appropriate first stop for visiting dignitaries and VIPs coming and going from the city. Um, so it makes sense that that is also like Deep Armory HQ in Skytown.
Mhm.
Your after about, you know what? I will actually pause right there just for a moment. Only because already know a little bit of the answer to this question. Um, Alula, uh, do you follow the same path as Zilny to get back to your home? Do you walk together? Because you, as it happens, live very close by.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. The two of you are not quite neighbors. Um, but you can probably see each other's houses from the um like the balconies above the shops that you both live above. So is there anything in particular either of the two of you want to do, say, talk about with each other as the two of you plus Brutus make your way home for the evening?
Their security.
Yeah.
We're little.
But I mean, in comparison to most people here.
That's true.
I'm sorry, refresh my memory. How late is it? / early.
I will say at this, so after the meeting that you guys tried to spy in on, eavesdrop in on a little bit, after that meeting, you all stayed and drank for a while. Not a huge amount of time, but it is probably 11 o'clock, midnight, maybe.
Okay.
It's not quite tomorrow yet.
Okay. It's not 3 a.m. or something crazy like that.
No.
Okay.
It is very late, but it is not irresponsibly late.
Okay. Which is fair because Zill's too old for that shit. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything in particular that they would want to talk about. He probably would want to check in and just, make sure that Lula's okay with this idea of going into this mine, because he kind of signed them up without asking anyone's permission because he was just trying to keep the conversation going.
She'll shrug and just kind of look at you and Godzilla and say, I don't think I've ever been that kind of mind before, especially not one that leads to a ancient civilization. But she was kind of like, she'd been rambling a little bit all the way to the walk here, talking about like stuff she can make and trinkets and like trying to kind of pry a little bit of information on Zilla. I feel that like she genuinely looks at him and says, I trust your judgment. I wouldn't have said yes and agreed to show up in.
I appreciate that. Hopefully, I'm signing us up for at least more information that can help us, and not anything else. Can't say that I'm entirely comfortable with this weird ancient civilization stuff. I don't know. It just seems to me like whenever they blow a hole too deep, whatever calls out of it is not usually good. So, not sure I'm excited to be the first one to crawl down the hole, but seems like it's part of the job to get the information that we need.
Yeah, or at least make it a really good excuse to spy on people. Okay, we'll have Kirsha.
Oh, badass, yeah.
Kirsha'll be there. I'll have the rest of the group. Okay. Plus, I need the gold.
You and me both.
Brutus just barks.
Yeah, good boy. Thunk thunk. Like pats him, and it's like this, like patting like an
Yeah.
empty keg.
Just a single affirmative bark at needing money.
No, it's not an empty keg. There's a slight sloshing
sound. Yeah,
from
there
what
is.
you're trying to
Yeah.
brew inside of him.
It's true. There is a little bit of
How long-
sloshing.
How long has this been brewing inside of Brutus?
She's got
Well,
plans in the next couple days to go visit one of her brewmaster uncles. So
A while.
Probably maybe a little longer. She hasn't been able to get like around to visiting him. So probably a little
Okay.
longer than it probably had.
Let me just say that with the amount of like audible sloshing that is happening, the angel share on whatever it is that you're brewing is considerable.
Angels are drunk.
So Sam,
Yeah.
you return home and when the two of you split up, Zilny, you are the first to you are the first to arrive at your home. So the two of you split up Rhodes, you see that you didn't tell me the name of this shop, did you?
No, because I don't have fantasy name generator open.
I
right
can
now.
only have one
Alright.
tab of fantasy name generator open at a time, and I'm trying to find the name of the proprietor, so you gotta help me out.
Hey. I didn't think
Divine.
of one beforehand because I don't know, for some reason my brain didn't
It
think
doesn't
to think
have
of
a name.
that.
It just says general.
Bits and bobs for odd jobs.
Done.
There we go. There was a name at one point, but like nobody remembers anymore because the guy who owns this shop is actually somehow older than Zilny. So he's owned this shop for so long that like he doesn't even have the original paperwork from when he like registered with the guilds to open it. So nobody remembers.
All right.
So everybody just knows, yeah, it's that shop.
The
The
shop.
one that has everything. That one.
So
Oh god. And this is this like
It's
I imagine
Skytown
the
Target.
sign has never been replaced. Like the sign is the original and it's just worn down
Mhm.
to the point of there's like, you know, there might be a G somewhere in there. Like you could
no,
maybe
there
get
isn't.
G.
I guarantee you the G is gone. The G was the first thing to go. Um, the you do see that you do have to pass in front of the store to get to the walk up to the exterior staircase up to the second floor balcony where there are a number of small studio apartments. um this particular building, which is on the corner, is actually 3 levels, and you are on the second, so you're in the middle. um and you actually see um as you walk past the windows of this shop, you actually see a few candles lit from inside.
Awfully late for him to still be up. Hmm. Can I see inside the window? Like, do I see the shop owner in there moving around?
Make a perception check.
18.
18.
Mhm.
You peer inside, and at first, you only see a tall, gnarled uh, tree branch, for lack of a better term, just kind of like up, standing up on end from behind a shelving display, and it leans to one side and kind of moves, and then it leans to the other side and kind of moves. And out from behind this shelving unit comes this slightly taller than you, slightly wider than you, but almost emaciated, old, wrinkled, shriveled gray raisin of a Durgar. And it is the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Morcom Knifeminder, the proprietor of the shop. Um, and speaking of, we've named an NPC, so it is time to play Spelling Bee. Morcom Knifeminder. Who would like to go first?
Oh. Morkum.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Knife minder better just be knife minder.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Rhodes, you are incorrect.
Damn
Is it
it.
KEM maybe?
What about
I
I
was
am?
gonna say Morcham.
I have yet to hear the correct spelling.
There's probably an apostrophe in
No, he's not an elf.
it.
I will give you it. I will give you two hints. A hint in two forms. Um, Rhodes, you were devilishly close. And I will also say that there is no bullshit punctuation marks because I have always believed that where Elvish is all about the misplaced apostrophes, in Dwarvish you have a lot of the same thing, but it's lots of umlauts and colons in the middle of words.
Morkim?
No.
What about
Okay.
which one did we guess? We guessed originally was
Morkum.
UM. Yeah.
Was the original guess. And I
Okay.
am pretty sure you have since guessed every other vowel in that as that second vowel except the correct one.
Was it
Why?
sometimes why?
No.
E.
Morkom. Morcom.
Oh.
Damn it.
Man, fuck that guy.
Was he good?
Knife minder, like a knife that
Yeah.
you stab a guy with, as God intended.
It's not spelled like NYPHE.
No. KNIFEMINDER, knife minder.
And he's just Morcom's just going around his shop. But he seems fine, old as
Yeah, he's
F.
it's
fine.
it's pretty late for any store to be open, but it's a general store and he's a Durgar, and I mean Walgreens is open late.
Fair enough. All right.
But
Then
yeah, it is actually, now that it kind of takes you a second, you've been drinking and it is late. So your logic doesn't catch up with your eyes quickly enough. But this is not terribly uncommon for Morcom to have the shop open late.
in that case, if he if we happen to make eye contact as I'm walking by, not necessarily trying to, but if we happen to, I'll give the standard, nod of acknowledgement. But other than that, he's fine doing his thing.
Uh,
Live your best life, dude.
what is your passive stealth?
That would just be 10 plus my stealth, correct, Mundo?
Correct.
13.
13. He does see you, and he's very, very old. Withered, dry, gray raisin of a Durgar that he is. But he does lean on his staff and give you a respectful nod. And you head up to the head up to your apartment. It is actually, make me another perception check as you approach the door to your apartment.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. As far as you can tell, it is as you had left it this morning.
And it's easy to tell because it's pretty much just like the not even twin size bed. Let's be honest, it's probably like a toddler size bed in proportion, and like a table with 2 chairs, and a dresser. That's really all he has. It's like ultimate old man bachelor pad.
Ultimate minimalist
Yeah.
old man bachelor pad.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Apartment.
um Speaking of Lula, you bid Zilny a pleasant evening, and you and Brutus make your way further down the street towards the name of the shop that you live above is the Dragon's Ink typesetter. Um, you you likewise have to pass by the shop itself in order to make your way into the alley, um, where where you will eventually make your way up to the balcony above the store to your flat. Um, as you pass by the Dragon's Ink typesetter, that building is dark, as it should be. They, um, the Trubo, uh, what are they? Halflings? They're dwarves. The dwarven couple, the Trubos, are not the kind to keep their typesetting shop open late. It is not that kind of business, and they do not cater to that sort of clientele. Um, but so you enter the dimly lit alleyway and snake your way through a few other shops, a few other small um, condos, I suppose, for lack of a better term, are some of the homes accessible from this alley, and eventually make your way up the stairs and to your apartment. As you reach, uh, as you reach for the doorknob of your flat, I would like you to make a perception check.
19.
19?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as you can tell, the everything, at least from the outside looking in, everything seems to be the way you left it.
Probably left a light on.
Okay. Through a small window in the front, not far from the front door, you do see a faint glow emanating from the singular light that you leave on. Um, as especially as an artificer and in a technologically savvy environment that you guys find yourselves in Skytown, it is not particularly common, but also not especially uncommon for light sources to be of things other than candles and open flames and lanterns and that sort of thing. Um, but you do open the door and are immediately met with shit just in a mess everywhere. It it is immediately plain to you that whoever lives here, you think you might have your apartment might have been ransacked. So, yes, everything absolutely the way you left it.
Yep,
Please tell us more about that.
I know exactly my organization system. Thank you. The opposite of Zill, Lula is a maximalist. She lives above a typesetter. This small space, like Zill, her home is not large. She does have a lot more. I feel like she has a little bit more space. Most of it dedicated to her work. Her sleeping area is just large enough to cram a small bed and a set of dressers, like a dresser, hidden in like this one off-put corner. And it's hidden by a pair of folding screens to give like a little bit of privacy. 90% of the rest of the room is dedicated to. It's got in this particular room above the shop, like storage for them for the Trubos. And at one point somebody lived up there, so there's a bathroom, there's some amenities. But like that person lived there like maybe 50 years ago, left or some way vacated. They filled the room with stuff and old parts and old typewriters. All kinds of just mechanical nonsense. Lila needed a place to live. She said, I will clean it out, repair your shit, and all I ask is discount on rent and all the bits and bobs that I want. So they let her stay there, and there is literally just machinery everywhere. She's got like 3 work tables, one of which is dedicated almost solely to Brutus. She has this
Although that wasn't always the case.
that wasn't always the case. She has one of the other large pieces is this big like iron tub, like a big steel cloth, almost like a clawfoot tub that has varying versions of use. Sometimes it's a tub, sometimes she falls asleep in it, sometimes it's filled with stuff and spare parts. It all kind of depends on what, but like she doesn't remember how it got there. It was always just there. And she's convinced it will not fit back out the door. So she lives kind of in organized chaos. Her landlords don't understand how she can live there, but she knows exactly, just like how Zil knows where like things are or like how the proprietor of Bits and Bobs knows where like their everything. Everything has a place. It doesn't look organized, but to her, like she knows, hey, wait, I had a sprocket somewhere. She can go to the last place she remembers having them and seeing it and pull it out of a pile.
Excellent. And Lula, you are also pretty familiar with Bits and Bobs, and the proprietor Morcom. Whenever you need like a very specific, really weird thing that isn't really a thing, and you don't find yourself in a position to just make the thing yourself, Morcom is the guy that you go to when you say, hey, I just need a thing. And somehow, if he doesn't have it that day, he has it within a day or two.
That's probably how Zil and Lila met. It's like and like they were having a conversation, and then she just never left Zil alone.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Yeah. He was just like, what is that thing? I don't even comprehend what you could be doing. And then Lula just got super excited to explain it to him.
Oh.
And he didn't have the heart to like break this in his mind's like kid's heart by saying, I didn't actually care that much. And so he just like went to go see it and that just stuck.
And then she followed him to the keep at one point, like the Deep Armory keep, and like kept talking. And then like somehow ended up on his next contract. Like she just kind of showed up, and then that's just now they sit at the same table.
Despite your best efforts. Excellent. Well, we will move right along to Helia. Helia. You make your way home from the Dire Keg. Where do you go? Where do you live?
So, after exiting Moonlight Row, Helia goes back a little bit towards the mutton chop, but not all the way there. Her home is kind of in between the Forge Master's Temple and the mutton chop, between those two buildings that are right here where I'm pinging on the map.
Ping Dome of Blammo!
Her apartment is cozy. It is located above a tea and confectionery / bookshop called the Tiefling's Tale, and that's TEAFLING. Tale
Fuck
TALE. It's always warm and cozy and smells like really really delicious hot tea and baked goods. It's lined with bookshelves. It's a little bigger than a studio. There's an area for for cooking, and there is a comfortable bed with a very clearly lovingly handmade quilt on it, and some cozy squishy chairs, um, a small table between the two of them, and like I said, lots of bookshelves in the apartment. She clearly likes to read, and interspersed through the bookshelves are growing numbers of plants. And in one corner, there is uh, there's a lot more plants than the rest of the apartment, and that is because Endeavor has been filling the space that they share, as their friendship has struck up after Endeavor branched out from Lula. They have been staying with Helia and has been collecting plants.
Okay, excellent. Um, so the two of you go off to
Yes.
Helia's home together.
Yes.
Is there anything the two of you are talking about or doing on your way home? Any of that sort of thing, as it is not nearly the considerable walk
Get it?
that it takes to get to Lula and Zilni's neighborhood. Um, but at least, at least on route to Helia's home, the four of you, I suppose, do walk together. Um,
Mhm.
and on your way, I will just fill in these as well.
Sorry, a door just opened at me.
What?
Like, was the
Was
dog behind
was there a
it?
Nope.
dog behind the door?
No.
Oh, just a
Oh,
poltergeist or
so
something?
the
That's
so the
cool.
very friendly ghost that you're. Uh-oh. Hold, please. Your internet has.
Oh, we
No,
lost Sam and
no.
Dustin.
Oh,
Yeah,
them.
Sam and Dustin. Yeah.
I'm
Sam's
back.
being
Swear to
entirely
God.
too
You're
still.
back. Uh-oh.
Tina,
It's like
there
she's
better
being
not be
really still and her
ghosts in this
mouth's like
house.
half open. Nah, she was in
Yeah.
the middle of saying something.
I was. I was making fun of your poltergeist.
But we've lost Dustin.
Yeah, for sure. He probably will. Not sure why.
Mm.
Some weeks it doesn't do it. Some weeks it does. Gotta be the
we
internet.
definitely.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
back. Am I back?
Nope. Can't hear you.
Damn it.
What were you gonna say, Rose?
I was gonna say we definitely don't take midnight or Moonlight Row back because if it's only midnight, they're still partying.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like we take the long way around.
Mm.
So the route that you guys inevitably have to take, because yes, in a very big way, the party on Moonlight Row never ends. And so you guys leave the Dire Keg, you cross Moonlight Row. Um but your route takes you past the Pristine Raiment and the Bitter Strength Apothecary, which are at opposite ends of a large, like, almost like a business complex. Like, it's almost like a business campus um, and market. The Pristine Raiment is the if I can find it in my notes. The Pristine Raiment is the it is the guild hall named for the guild Pristine Raiment, which is tailors, carpenters. So there are lots of those types of shops on the east side of that campus. And the Bitter Strength Apothecary, also named for the guild that it represents, is lots of apothecaries. There are also a few apothecaries, potion shops, some like magic item shops. There's a little bit of like, I don't have a better word for it, but a little bit of like cross contamination with the Sharper Visage, which who are all, you know, the enchanters. But there's a lot of shared expertise. Those two guilds are related in a lot of ways. So there's some of that as well. Um, but yeah, you essentially have to cut through that campus to get back to Helia's home, and from there, Alula and Zilny continue on to their respective flats.
Yes.
Um, so I think I had asked this already, but then I blinked into the ethereal plane for a little bit. Um, but is there anything that the four of you are continuing to discuss, or Helia and endeavors, or anything else that the two of you specifically are doing to wind down your evening?
Uh, I think on their way up, Helia would pop into the tiefling's tail and grab a warm tea and maybe a cookie to have before bed.
Okay.
And she'll ask Endeavor if they want a tea as well, knowing that they like the scent of it. Um, Other than that, I think she kind of is muttering to her friends about um finding out intel on this rickety hake person, and she was going to see what she could dig up about them in the next couple of days before they just randomly follow this person down into the mountain, um, and see if she could subtly ask around about Saoirse as well, knowing that she doesn't know her all that well.
Okay. So just trying to, you know, put together a to-do list for tomorrow.
Yeah, essentially,
Endeavor
like,
has the paper out and is kind of jotting this down. It's like get
yeah,
water,
essentially,
bring rations, collect
yeah, and
information.
essentially she's trying to just gather intel like she always would, and even if that means going to get supplies, maybe the potion guy that always has an ear out and knows things that she can go buy some
Yeah.
potions from, and have a casual conversation with and come out knowing a little bit more about XYZ person.
Okay. Um, Excellent. So you guys put that to-do list together. I am trying to jot some quick little notes.
Yeah, I think Endeavor's making the list, like a literal list that they will probably copy over and then hand out, knowing that it's gonna just be used as scratch paper by Lula, and
Eh,
Are
Zill
they
will
And then
taking
respect the list.
close?
inevitably eaten by Brutus. You know how
Yeah,
it is.
basically, like it's just accepted. They're kind of sad, but there's an actual list of, yes, information gathering before we go down under the mountains. What lives under the mountains? What might eat us under the mountains? What can we eat under the mountains? Must we bring food?
Okay.
I don't need food, but other people need food.
Um,
Can we drink the water?
yeah, so you want to be gathering supplies for this impending expedition. You want to be gathering intel about this rickety hake motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
The intel, just I want all of it.
Mm. Have any of us been under the mountain before? Have we done jobs?
no.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, none of you have ever been into Korsavabru proper.
That's what I thought.
Um, all four of you have, unless you grew up in lands unknown, you otherwise would have spent your entire lives in and or around Skytown, above ground. In order to, there are few people that have like free reign to go in and out of the core gate. Um, and those people would include high-ranking guild members, because the guild halls in Skytown are essentially just outposts
Mm.
of the main guild headquartered deep under the mountain. Um, so high-ranking members of each of the guilds would be able to travel freely. Um, VIPs of other sorts, like clan leadership, would be able to travel freely. Most of the people who travel back and forth are all part of the merchants guild, the gilded society. And that is simply due to the fact that someone has to carry supplies in and out of the city. Um, but yeah, ordinarily, if you live in Skytown, that's where you stay. If you happen to live in Korsavabru, actually under the mountain, you could, and this
Mm.
works in both directions, but essentially you can get a passport
Mm.
to travel through the gate. It's like going to Canada. Yes, you need a passport, and you can't really do it without one. And not everybody has a passport, but it is easier for people who live and work under the mountain in the city proper to get those passports to be able to leave and come back.
Mm.
Just like if you live in the US, it's a lot easier to get a US passport, travel abroad, and then come back to the US or wherever you're from.
So can
Kind
I
of
get like
similar.
a Nexus pass, or do I need the whole passport, or just the
Yeah.
passport
Check.
card, or
Only
Do
for
we, do
Canada
we
and
need
Mexico.
TSA free?
Citizenship.
Multi-pass.
Multi.
Easy pass.
Yeah.
You just go through after the.
Easy,
I guess that is
easy
a good
pass is
point.
anything but easy.
Do we do we need something in order to do this job?
We're not
Uh,
going into the city though. We're going into like a side of the mountain, right?
yeah. So where you, from what Sersha has told you so far,
We're going up there.
you are going to do, do, do,
Yeah.
bam, Golden Expanse mine. That is the mine that almost kind of follows the coast north and east of the
Mhm.
city into the mountains in that direction. Um, Korsavabru mostly lies to the west. So, and that is why this is a separate mine that is disconnected from the rest of the city and such.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, you all put your list together. Um, you all get a reasonable enough night's sleep, um, I would like everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
Fuck.
Oh.
Before you take your long rest.
Oh. Okay.
Natty 20, 26.
Okay.
Rolling a lot better than yesterday.
I'm not.
Nope, me neither. 9.
8.
21.
Okay. The DC was only 10,
Damn it.
but if you failed and had taken any hit point damage, you wake up with a hangover and you get a long rest, but you only heal half of the difference in your hit points.
I
So if
heal
you had
1
taken-
point.
If you had taken 10 damage, you only heal 5 of it back.
Mm-hmm.
And now, onwards to day 2 of our adventure.
I feel like Endeavor just puts tea next to where Helia is after waking up.
Yeah, I
Like-
think Elia is definitely an early riser, so the tea is appreciated. This morning she has a headache though.
Yeah. This is special.
She was at full health, but she definitely has a headache.
Mhm.
This is specialty.
Yeah, I won't say that you have like levels of exhaustion or any of that kind of garbage. You are not mechanically hindered in any way, but I do want to stress that you have been inconvenienced. So yeah,
she probably just tells Endeavor like, "Huh, you're so lucky you don't drink. I always question why I do the next morning."
Well, have you ever answered that question?
Only while I'm usually drinking because it's fun.
It doesn't seem very fun.
Oh, thanks for the tea.
Anytime. You should drink it all now while it's hot.
It's just like shoots it back.
It's probably like
that's
the type
not
of
how that's not how you're supposed to drink tea.
It's more like one of those, those hangover cures where it's like it's kind of got some sludge in it. It's It's one of those, like, just hold your nose and tape it back.
She's like, "Is this chamomile and pickle juice?"
With the raw egg on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got like a raw egg on top, and it's like a Bloody Mary that has a big celery stick in it, but it's
I
just
grew
a
it myself.
giant mushroom cap.
Oh God.
I grew them in the windowsill.
I grew them.
Oh, they are
In
nice
me.
mushrooms, but
Yeah,
It's in my shoulder.
yeah. I grew them
Rock
in
it,
my
Pam Sam.
armpits.
Oh, that's why they taste a little musky.
I can't smell.
I don't have a sense of smell. Oh well. All right. So you all wake up in your respective dwellings. Are each of you splitting up the list? Are you all meeting up somewhere and tackling the list together? At this point, you've got 3 days to kill before you have to be back at the Dire Keg to meet Hank and presumably actually get a look at this contract that you tentatively have signed up for.
Uh, for Helia, I will say I think that the intel she's trying to find on Hake at the very least, and if anybody outside the uh my brain just keeps going police department knows much about Sersha, I think she would try to go do that by herself, so it's not like this group of four people and a mechanical dog going and asking all these questions about other people.
Okay. So
Sounds very
you
Scooby Doo.
so you are planning to head to Deep Armory Keep then?
Yes.
Okay. Um, where are the rest of you going? Or are the rest of you going to meet up without Helia?
Um, you go. You go. Could go.
I was gonna say, well, with the failed con save, Ula had every intention of getting up and going. Like getting up, getting dressed, and going. She has a couple places she wants to go check out. Not so much investigating Kate's, but doing a little more overt questioning of some of her family who are in other guilds to see if they've heard anything about these rumors, this conduct thing from their original contract. Needless to say, she probably sleeps till about noon,
Okay.
not feeling great. So I will leave it up to everyone else if they leave her in the dust. And like she probably mentioned this to Zill on the way back to the house, like their homes. That like, yeah, I'm probably gonna go check out, watch my uncle and one of my cousins, and then eventually make my way to at some point over the next couple, just to kind of give like a at the guild hall. It's gonna be more like just sitting and listening instead of like actively questioning people. So in her slightly more manic like planning, that's probably what she but knowing that she's probably slept till noon today, totally understandable if he has left her behind.
Okay. Endeavor, where are you going?
So where would one go to learn more about basically the equivalent of like cave ecosystems?
Um,
I've never gone down into
Upstairs to the
mine.
bookshop.
it,
I live above a bookshelf, but I'm not sure if it carries those types of books that she Endeavor is Endeavor wants to know more about what the environment that they're going to be going into is like so that they can prepare if they need to have, do they need specific equipment? Are there creatures that are really poisonous and going to kill them that drop from the ceiling? You know, those types of things. Don't eat this plant because you will die.
okay.
Make sure that, when you're picking it, this three-leaved plant is okay. This three-leaved plant means you're going to itch a lot. That type of information about just mostly sort of nature and environment focused on, especially they're more focused on we're taking this crazy job, and I am not well suited to go figure out if the person offering it has other intentions or there's something shady. But at the very least, I can try and keep these people from potentially walking into a nest of bad spiders or itchy plants.
Yeah. So, and then Zilny, what are you doing today?
So Upon waking up, he was waiting for Lula. Kind
Alrighty.
of wanders
Lula
around
does
for a
not
bit.
show.
Yeah, Lula doesn't show, but Zill is used to a lifetime of like really weird sleep. He had years where he was on like overnights and then years where he was on like super early mornings. And so like his sleep cycle is just screwed at this age. So he woke up fairly early. When Lula was late, he realized, all right, well, I need to get my arm serviced before we have to go down to this mine. So he goes to whatever shop like services his, half mechanical replacement arm to drop it off for repairs just to make sure it's fine. And then by about probably 10, he's back at Lula's apartment just with his pistol in hand banging on her door as loudly as possible. He's using the pistol because he doesn't have the mechanical arm, which will be louder, but he wants the same amount of noise. So,
Okay. So
Roll a perception check.
I'm going to start here because this seems immediate, and I have a question. Where do you actually go to get your arm serviced, and why do you not get it serviced by the artificer that you already know and hang out with all the time?
She's a baby.
yeah, pretty much. He gets it serviced
That
by
is fair. That is a fair answer.
Yeah.
I just
No,
wanted to know.
he gets it serviced by the person who created it.
Okay.
So, it's not anything against Lula. It's an artificer knows their own creation much more and knows the ins and outs, and so he just keeps going to his guy.
You are the type of person that when your car breaks it down, you take it to the dealership.
Or at least the guy he's always known. So yeah, whoever that is that gained his trust the first time, you're now the
Okay.
person. Like, that's it. Not that he
Okay.
doesn't trust Lula, but Lula didn't make the arm. So she'd have to like take it apart to then reconstruct it to understand it, and he really doesn't have patience for that. He'd just
that is
rather
really
go to
unheard
the
of.
person. Yeah. He just
And
let him go.
It may
I
also
mean,
be sentient when she puts it back on.
Maybe.
So like
Yeah, and I really need my arm to not have its own mind. I need to be able to shoot a gun.
What if you could detach it and fly?
what if your arm was the gun?
Ah,
If Lula ever says that, he would be like, yes.
yeah.
downtime.
Conversation.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Give her a couple levels.
You have piqued my interest. You had my attention, and now you have my interest.
Mhm.
And my arm.
And my arm.
Okay. I could go on for forever in that vein. So around 10, maybe 10:30, you've gone off and you've dropped your arm um at the repair shop.
Mhm, mhm.
You get a replacement arm like at the car dealer. Like
do
you get a
you get a loaner
Loaner.
arm?
yeah, do you get a loaner
No,
arm for the day?
he tried that once, but it doesn't
Loaner claw.
it doesn't fit the right way. Like it's a little all the loaners are not the right size. His is proportioned to his body, and so he just doesn't like the loaners because they're just not right. He'd rather just walk around with the
Yeah.
stub.
Any loaner arm that you get is either going to be like way too scrawny because it's meant for like a toddler and too small, or it's as big as you are because it's meant for like a human.
Not worth it.
So sorry, I'm just making a quick note. The name of the shop that you take your arm to is aptly called an arm and a leg.
Amazing.
Fair enough.
So you take your arm in, and there is a I will say that this large dwarven woman, Gwenva, is the one behind the desk. You've met her a few times before, but she's mostly just the receptionist and office manager. She is not the craftsman who actually owns the shop and does the work. But she collects your arm and says, yes, I think we have time in the schedule. Come back earlier mid this afternoon, and it should be ready. We'll get it all tuned up and re-oiled for you. It'll be good as new.
Always appreciated.
All right, thank you, and we will see you later on today. And you leave to make a ruckus back at uh yes. Back at Lula's apartment. Um Lula, go ahead and make a perception check. Actually, Zilny, make an athletics check. Lula, make a perception check. Lula with disadvantage.
An 11.
Zil, you start banging on that door. Doesn't doesn't seem like Lula's answering the door, or she may not be here.
Hold please, Twitch. Hey, look at this thing. Electric Extra Life Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, in a week and a half. Watch us do shenanigans. Hey!
Is Sam frozen? Because she's
I
like
think
really
so.
holding that smiley pose.
I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
Everyone's
She was
back.
so happy.
I was so happy.
Yeah, Sam, make a regular perception check for Brutus.
I pull stat block. Get so much.
You got the Brutus dice that I found.
Brutus is an 11.
I have my spike.
11.
Not good.
And it's on the floor.
Brutus, well-trained and biggest, bestest doggo that he
His
is.
passive is also 16.
Okay.
Okay. Brutus kind of gets up, hobbles over, and just sits right next to your bed. Actually, no. You didn't make it so far as your bed. You're sleeping in the hammock underneath one of your work tables. That's as far as you got. So you're wrapped up, a little bit tangled up in this hammock, and Brutus gets his face right here.
She really screams and tumbles out of the hammock and lands on the floor.
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
21.
21? Damn
Yeah.
it. You are not tangled in your hammock. You successfully escape your hammock. Zilny,
Not the first time I've fallen out of it.
So you bang, bang, bang on the door, and then you just hear a bark and a shriek,
And a thud.
and then a thud.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
She will around kind of like a little bleary-eyed, big headache, and just kind of like push Brutus away.
Definitely not helped by the mechanical dog that just barked very loudly right into your face.
No, for sure. And then she'll look and I assume see like, well, the door's doesn't have,
But there is a window on that wall, and it looks like it might be close to midday.
shit. Brutus, what is it, buddy? Like she'll use him.
Brutus is not omniscient and can only do so much. Brutus is not intelligent on his own. So Brutus just looks at you and barks in your face again.
No! No!
Weird.
It's like in her face too, because he's as tall as she is.
Yeah.
From
His breath's
outside the
probably-
door, you just hear like a muffled voice. I can literally hear you talking.
Shit. She'll stumble over to the door and open it, find Zill. And like you see, Zill sees like the goggles are gone. You're not quite sure where. It's weird to see her without them, but like her hair is like normally tied back in like braid, like a bunch of like braided buns, like this kind of like twisted, intricate knotwork in the back of her head is all just like frizzy and like kind of flat on one side, and definitely in a little worse for wear. The eye makeup is all smudgy. Yeah, definitely worse. Time is it?
Oh no, about 11.
Shit. Oof. All right. Hold on. Give me 5. No. Give me 10 minutes.
All right. And as he's saying that, he puts his pistol away and pulls out a flask and just says, "A little bit of the hair, go."
She'll take it and she'll take a swig.
I hope that whatever Lula is distilling in Brutus, she calls it hair of the dog.
Well, now she does.
Excellent.
And
Absolutely.
with that, we are all going to take 5. Wait. Yeah, actually just 5 minutes.
All right, hold on. I wasn't ready for the break.
Yes, we're going to take a quick break so we can stretch our legs, take a deep breath, collect ourselves, powder our noses or whatever, and we will return in just a few moments.
Stay tuned, friends.
Stay tuned!
Yeah.
Internet again.
Welcome back, internet.
Hello.
I must I need to lead with an apology. I've made a huge grievous error. I introduced an NPC and we didn't play spelling bee.
I feel like we need
Uh,
like a transition.
like a chime.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
and it does like a whole little animation.
Mhm.
Oh,
So I know that we already kind of resolved it during the break. Rhodes, what was your submission for the spelling of Gwenva?
G. Yeah, I can never spell Guinevere right to begin with. Guineva.
And Sam, what was the correct spelling?
GWENVA.
And an inspiration for Sam for winning spelling bee.
Listen, I need it. Okay.
Went too fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Her elf
They're not always
counterpart,
fancy.
an elf in a different city, is gonna have that name.
It is the two spellings and the two very slightly different pronunciations are it's dwarven or elvish, and it is essentially the difference between Robert and Roberto.
Yes. Or all the many ways to spell Catherine. Just
Yeah.
depends on where you're from. Yeah, no.
No, it depends on whether or not you're right. There are too
Wait,
many
which one
ways.
is right?
The one I don't even freaking know. Whichever one you're not using, everyone's wrong. No one knows how to spell that name correctly.
I mean, if you want to get really crazy, my family spells it two different ways. There are two Mary Catherines in my family. They spell Catherine differently.
That's wrong.
Yeah. Oh, my grandmother is one of the Mary Catherines. She spelled my mother's middle name differently than her own.
Oh.
That makes it even worse.
But your grandmother's such
Yeah.
a boss.
She named her child after herself
So-
and just slightly changed the spelling.
So she would feel, special. I don't know. I doubt that was the
Oh,
reason.
but she was the. No, my mom's the youngest and she ran out of names.
Is she a
To be
spirit
fair,
type
my
friend?
great grandmother was also named Mary, and she ran out of names and so named two of her daughters Mary.
My mom's family.
So, there's
Oh
only
my
two names in
God.
my family, really.
Okay, I need you to have a piece that has a family, like so many siblings that their parents have started just naming the same thing.
Like 4 names
like
and
I
just
remember
rotate
having
the
a
first and
Spanish-
middle. So you have like Mary Catherine and Catherine Maria.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember having a Spanish teacher in high school, and she was telling us one time how like all her sisters were named Maria something like different, and she's like, by the time my mom got to me, she named me Heidi Roxanne. It's the only one with a different name.
All right. So we will move away temporarily from Zilly and Lula and Brutus as Lula nurses that hangover.
She gets dressed and they leave. She fixes her shit.
Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, we have Helia and Endeavor.
Mm.
And I don't remember where the two of you were going.
I was going to first off get some intel on Rickety Hake.
Yes.
See what I could find
You
out.
were- yeah. We would have split up. I don't do intel gathering.
Okay.
At least not on people. I'm not good with that. Apparently it makes people nervous. But probably before parting with Helia, I would cast enhance ability
Ooh.
Okay.
and Yeah. Eagle Splendor, so advantage on charisma checks.
Appreciate ya.
Give you a little
So,
give you a little
what are
boost.
you doing?
Like a smack on the ass on the way out.
She's like, oh.
All right.
I saw people do that down at the I don't know, basketball court or something. I'm not sure what sports they play, but there's probably sports ball of some kind.
It,
Saw it
Oh.
at the sports ball.
actually, it's funny that you say that because there is a official sport of Skytown, and it is called sport ball.
Sport ball.
Sports ball.
Everything is called sports ball
Yes.
in my world.
So I saw it at the sports ball court.
Yeah.
You know-
Actually, that's not entirely. Sports ball is played on a field, not court.
The field.
Do they have to
If-
score goals in the hoops on the field?
I'll get back to you on that.
Uh,
Let me invent an entire game off the top of my head right now. No. It is a
Hellia's
game.
probably-
It is,
All sports are basically just soccer in the end. Okay.
Hellia just kind of looks at Endeavor. She kind of laughs and she goes, I wouldn't make a habit of doing that. Definitely don't do that to Zilny, or else one of your parts might replace his mechanical arm. Sir, Hey.
Mm,
no.
I like my parts where they are.
I can't blame ya. Stop.
Helia is
So,
trying
yeah.
to leave to go like get on with her day, and there's like this halfling holding up like a local newspaper, but it's not a Skytown local newspaper. So Helia's like, "Just stop! No, go away!"
Halfling named Maximus?
Yeah.
Maximus
Hi, I'm
Maximus.
Max. Do you have a second to talk about the halfling times?
Sir, put the rug
No.
down. I do not.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if where the information that I would be looking for would also be Deep Armory.
Okay. Endeavor, what information are you looking for? You are looking for like what's up with like the mines and like can
What is
stuff
in
eat
the
me?
mines? What might
What's
be,
in the mines?
if we're
What
going
eats me
into
and
the
what do I
mountains,
eat?
what lives there?
Okay. Make just a straight intelligence check to start
That-
off.
Because I'm like, I've never been there. I have heard that there are animals though that live in mountains, so you know. Intelligence is not bad. 13.
13. Okay. I mean, you do live above a bookstore.
I do.
Bookstores and libraries are classically repositories of knowledge, and you seek knowledge. So starting there might be reasonable. But your questions are all relating to what's in the mines, and who better to ask than a miner?
Mm.
So reasonably, I would say you could do a little research in the bookstore, see if something that's there is what you're looking for, or you can just go to the Golden Expanse and ask a miner. They do have like it's a mine entrance, but it is also a guild hall.
Mhm.
So they're just like all of the other guild halls and most other businesses in town in general. Like there's an admin desk. There's an admin building
Mhm.
that you should be able to go there and just ask questions.
I think Endeavor would start downstairs in the bookshop and see if they have anything that is you know, you know the compendiums where they have like the, you know, animals of the underground, plants of the underground. You have like the whole series.
Underdark for Dummies.
Yeah, like the
Underdark for
sections.
Adventurers.
Mhm.
It's a real book now.
Like the field guide 2, and then you
Yeah.
have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
so looking for something like that,
Encyclopedia
if
Skytownica.
there's nothing there, or if there's anything that provides direction, but maybe not specifics, then would take that to the Golden Expanse to see if there are anyone who has been down there could potentially provide a bit more information on what one, if they were going to say, I don't know, be a miner and delve deep into the mountain, what might they expect to encounter along the way?
Okay. Yeah, so you start downstairs in the bookshop.
Mhm.
Um Go ahead and first duh, duh, duh. So you head downstairs
What are you doing, buddy?
and you enter the Tiefling's Tale. Um and the sign is a very large. There's not like a hanging sign that sticks out over the street that has all of this on there. There is a bit of that, but it the sign is literally like the shape of the sign is just an open book shape, and cut out from the center is like a teacup.
Yeah.
Is the sign that like sticks out over the street, and then very large and elaborate, um not like um not elaborate as in like rare materials used to make the sign, but it's all very fancy like calligraphy and whatnot. But very large sign above the door is um uh the Tiefling's Tale, and then underneath it says a repository of fine brew, fine books, and I can't think of a third B word. I mean, I can
And
think of a
baked
third B
and baked
word.
goods galore.
There you go. Um, so you enter the shop, and and you encounter a woman stocking shelves, and and her name is Dorza, and she is a tall, curvy tiefling woman with um almost like lavender skin, and uh long ridged horn two long ridged horns that extend far uh behind her. They are horns that go back, not up.
I like those ones.
um does anyone want to hazard a guess for a game of spelling bee of Dorza?
Dorza.
Mm-hmm.
Dorza.
An inspiration to Tina for getting it immediately.
Yay. Um,
Um, but yeah, you enter the shop and you see Dorza restocking some shelves. There are a few other patrons in here, but she immediately sees you. You are obviously a regular. Um, and Dorza says, Oh, good morning, Endeavor. Looking for anything in particular this morning?
Good morning, Dorza. It's lovely to see you.
Lovely to
I
be seen.
am looking for perhaps some encyclopedias. I want to learn more about the mountains, and don't quite really know where to begin. Perhaps
Okay.
a primer of sorts, maybe something that is I don't know, an encyclopedia of plants or a compendium of subterranean beasts.
Uh, sure. Um, we might have something like that. Um, and she kind of guides you over to she guides you over to the nonfiction
Mm.
section. And I would like you, as the two of you are kind of like scanning the rows, you're kind of generally in the right area that you think you need to be. Go ahead and make an investigation check with advantage.
Mm-mm. I do the investigation. Crap. Wow, my dice suck. I brought my dice to New York and they're sucking.
Tired. Long drive.
15.
There's so much traffic in the
15.
Bronx and Queens.
Seriously, my dice are ejecting. They're
That's-
Southern dice. They're upset about being over the Mason Dixon line.
Like we are a
Um,
Southern dice, ma'am.
with a 15, you grab a couple of titles that you think might be helpful. Dorza grabs a couple of titles that based on your kind of loose description of what you're looking for, she thinks you might be looking for. Um, and most of the books that Dorza is grabbing are books about like the mountains and like the mountains themselves and things that relate to the mountains above ground.
Mm.
You are great. Intuitively knowing a little bit better of what you're looking for, eventually find yourself a little bit closer to like underdark stuff
Mm.
that is subterranean, underground.
They're like the Underdark subsection of nonfiction.
Yeah. Um, but these couple of books have um you do find one encyclopedia, and it you start flipping through it, and there's all kinds of references. Not much context here, but it's lots of references of um illithids, fungi,
Fungi.
um the
You see Endeavor like immediately kind of with the fungi section is just like ooh, plants.
plants, but a lot of these plants are plants that will eat you.
Plants that we don't bring home.
Yeah. You flip through, and it's lots of aberrations. It's stay out of the Underdark. Mind flayers live in the Underdark.
Ah.
Displacer beasts live in the Underdark. Aboleths live in the Underdark. Oozes live in the Underdark. Stay out of the
This is
Underdark.
Fun
fantastic.
jello.
Like with the XXXX and somebody's marked in extra X's.
Yeah. There's a lot of that. Um you but again, there's not really any context here.
Okay.
Um you don't find any outside of the like plant creatures that are like poisonous fungi that will leap out of the ground to come after you, unlike normal plants should.
Okay.
Um,
That's
there
good to
there's
know,
a
though. That's very good to know. Plants might jump out and might jump out of the ground at you.
um outside of those kinds of references, there isn't anything in this particular encyclopedia that would suggest that the environment itself is dangerous, toxic.
Mhm.
So, for example, there's nothing in here to suggest that if you found an underground stream, that it would be unsafe to drink the water. You do not get that impression.
Okay. You can in theory drink the water and eat the food, but the food may be trying to eat you,
Yeah,
and the
maybe
water, yeah.
unexpectedly trying to eat you instead.
Okay. Well,
Um,
that is good to know. I think Endeavor will. How much money do I have? Do I have money?
I don't know. Do you have any money?
I'm checking. I have a
Very
little
good
bit of money.
question.
I think I would. I think Endeavor will want to keep this book, even though there's really no context for things, but there's a bunch of very weird stuff in here, and
Hmm.
there's a bunch of very weird stuff that they're apparently going to see underground. So, having the book of weird creatures might be helpful if they're going to the weird city.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a whole lot. A lot of the book is kind of the greatest hits, I'll
Mhm.
say, of scary shit to find in the Underdark.
Awesome.
Um, but um, but yeah. There are other things in there, like, hey, if you happen across this particular mushroom, these are safe to eat. These are only safe for humans to eat. These are only safe for dwarves to eat.
Ah,
Um,
the high constitution mushrooms.
yeah, or like, you know, there's all kinds of that stuff in real life. Like dogs can't eat chocolate, and
Mhm.
it's because of, chemicals in certain things and the way different, um, the way that you metabolize certain things in food might end up being toxic to one type of creature as opposed to a different one. There's
Yeah.
a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's I think that's exactly what Endeavor was looking for, mostly because she is a little concerned that with them never having really been into the underground and not really knowing much about the person for whom or with whom they're going to be working, that
Hmm.
they're going to go down, that they're basically, let's send some schmucks down into this weird thing that we just unearthed, and we're going to get eaten by what looks like a bunch of ivy.
Hmm.
Like, so I think we'll keep never will keep the book, um and I guess, are any of the above the earth books things like geological history,
Uh,
paleogeology, the how the mountains were formed?
may make another investigation check.
Not with this dice. You've been doing me wrong tonight. You're doing a little better. Miss Jackson.
Okay. Um, yeah, there's um the mountains on, so all of the geography here is, and on this pretty much entire plane, all stems from a creation tale. Um, that is very real. It is not a creation myth. It is not a creation guess. It is actual tangible proof in history that gods created this plane and they created it in this way. Um, that is how the mountains originally formed. They were actually forged by the Forge Master, created the ground and the earth itself. Um, there are references to different cataclysms, um, different um, major events that have happened a few times to suddenly and radically change the shape of the landscape. But by and large, the world looks the way it does because of the Forge Master and other deities coming together to create it.
Okay. So it is conceivable, though, that at some point in the past there was some large natural or otherwise cataclysm where a what would have maybe even been like a surface civilization would have ended up way the heck under.
Um, make a religion check
Do I don't do that.
as you muse on this possibility.
Sure, you were pretty hunky dory with religion thing last time.
You know what?
Take a couple levels in cleric.
You know what? I mean, in Endeavor's eyes, that makes Alula like a demigod. Like, oh, okay, the Forge Master empowered. So obviously, if that's a god, and then
That
empowered
doesn't
Alula, and Alula can then cause me to come to life, then Alula has to be like a god.
that doesn't make a Lula demigod. It makes her a prophet. There's a difference.
A religion. Are you a okay, that's a 7. 19.
19.
Yes.
All right. Uh there are you do recall you've been in this bookstore many times. Oftentimes you'll come in here and it's like a Borders that you would go in, you would get yourself a cup of coffee, and you would pick something up off the shelf, maybe read a little bit of it, and being a decent human being that doesn't put a business like that out of business, if you like the thing that you start reading, you purchase that thing. Rhodes knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Um, so you recall that if you left and went back upstairs, you could probably find this book that you absolutely would have purchased because it was very interesting. Um, but there are accounts and stories of the most recent cataclysm that occurred in this part of the world. However, the most recent cataclysm that you recall of these stories did not go down like that. We did not have a mountain Atlantis situation.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Well, I think I would like to purchase this book because it has the scary shit in the Underdark book. I would like to purchase this because well, first of all, it has very nice pictures of plants that I do not know yet. I
Okay.
will not bring. You just kind of, you just kind of. She looks like pauses after asking to purchase it, and just kind of looks back and trying to be reassuring. Like, I will not bring any of these plants home. I promise.
um And Dorza just says she escorts you to the register, saying, yes, be sure that you don't. I believe that particular volume, and she looks and says, 5 silver pieces.
I'll count out the 5 silver.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
She Dorza, conducts the transaction. Says, do you need a bag?
Do I need a bag? No, I think I
All of
can.
our bags are reusable and cost 2 silver. No,
2 silver.
they cost 2 copper.
No, actually, on second thought, yes, I would like a bag
Okay.
because it's reusable.
Bag's
It
gonna come in
is
handy one day.
it is a uh it is lavender a lavender dyed burlap bag with just like a rope handle.
Oh, I love it.
And it has printed on it um a picture of Dorza herself, with kind of her back turned to you, but she's sitting reading a book. And you're
I
kind of
love
like
it. I
looking
want
over her
one.
shoulder.
I really want one.
Um and and so you see her tail is up, like swishing around, but her tail is holding a little teacup as well, even though tieflings do not have prehensile tails.
I don't care. I love it, and I want one.
Okay.
I want this bag now.
um then so yeah, and so you purchase your book and your bag. You can add
Mm.
that book and the bag to your inventory.
Is the book scary shit in the Underdark?
I hope so.
uh yes, the book is called Scary Shit That Lurks in the Underdark, Volume 1.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look for keep an eye out for volume 2. Maybe it's not printed yet. I love it.
The author was eaten by an aboleth before he could finish Volume 2.
I'm
Um
adding this. Okay.
Meanwhile, we will switch
Yes.
to Helia.
Yes, that's me.
Yes. You are headed to the Deep Armory Keep, correct?
Yeah, I want to find out whatever I can about Rickety Hake, even if it seems like minor details, it could be important later.
Okay. Go ahead and so you make your way over there. You are, as a member of that guild, you're very familiar with where the keep is and who to talk to. Um, you, I am just all of my notes for this section are just all of the NPCs that I'm naming.
Hey, you got to name them
And
sometime.
I love it. That was my entire idea. We're gonna get to know you guys. We're gonna get to know the town a little bit better.
Yes.
So this is exactly what I wanted. Um but you head over to the Deep Armory Keep. And now I really wish I had these maps in Hero Forge, because I actually made a map on Dungeon Alchemist of the entire Deep Armory Keep, and it looks really cool. Next time.
What you should do is send me the pictures.
Yeah, we
Instead of
do
just
that. So you head to the keep. The keep is a it is the only privately walled structure in all of Skytown. So Skytown has one wall. It's one exterior wall that runs from the mountains across the mountain pass that leads into the city out to the shore. Um, and then the keep is also walled. Outside the wall, you have the stables and the and all of that. The stables are currently empty. There are no horses or other beasts being kept here at the moment, but you head through the open um, drawbridge and portcullis of the keep into a small, like a small narrow courtyard. The keep is divided essentially on the inside into two buildings. You have one building is all kitchens and dormitories. Um, Dormitories particularly for um, recruits and trainees for the guild that are undergoing like specialized training, and um, any any full members of the guild can also just pay a lodging fee to live in the keep in the dorms. So that's one building. That building is 5 stories tall, and each floor has dormitories and its own kitchen. Um, the other building is the guild hall itself, that has training rooms, job posting boards, because probably 2/3 of the guild is just adventurers and rat catchers. Um, so there are like the main entryway and foyer of the guild hall is just lined with like job posting boards that essentially any member of any guild um can advertise a contract here. Um so you you know exactly who you're looking for. He's um one of the keep admins that you've worked with many times before. He's kind of like a keeper of contracts. And his name is Crumrack Halfbelt.
what is he? Keeper of what?
Keeper of contracts. That is
Oh,
not
wait.
an official title, but he's the guy who knows shit. He drinks and he knows things. And his name's
Wait.
Crumrack.
Crumrack. Okay.
Okay, good. I had a name in my back pocket just in case. It was not that.
That was not the name that I had in my back pocket. Court,
Yes.
how do you spell Crumrack?
I spelled it like crumb, like a breadcrumb, CRUMB, and then rack, RACK.
Okay, that is
Probably not.
incorrect.
Yes.
Rhodes.
KRUMRACK? Start with a K, end with a K. Just, nice symmetry.
Rhodes, that is incorrect. But you are very close.
I keep getting close.
Sam.
Arumwra.
No.
Damn it! There's no
There's no
C.
K on the end, is there?
Huh?
There's no K on the end.
No. Rhodes, you had an extra C. There's no C at the end.
Okay.
KRUS.
Oh god.
Oh.
Gross. We'll never know how it's truly
We'll
spelled.
never know how it's spelled.
KRUMRAK.
R-A-K. Yeah. Get Dustin back in a second. Every time I need to stop writing the names before we know how it's spelled because it's just
I know.
wrong every time.
All I could find was a pencil tonight, so I'm kind of glad for that. For the record, the name I had in my pocket was Guy Stoneslinger, spelled exactly how you spell it. So
Guys, stones. That's
Guy,
not. I don't have your.
you don't have my video?
Am I the
I
only
can see
one?
him.
Uh-oh.
I have
Alright.
Dustin's video.
That's a problem. Hold on,
I'm
stream.
spinning.
You are spinning.
Should I reset?
No,
It's
I
like,
might have to
boop,
reset.
stole your video.
Alright.
Okay.
Stream, don't freak out. Be back in a second.
I'm freaking out.
I'm freaking out, man.
Hold on.
Tina is occupying the dog because he's being a pain in the butt.
Mm. Oh, and I just saw the screen go black.
Sorry. It's either that or we don't see your face for the rest of the stream and we just see the spinning boxes.
No, that's not okay. So yeah, hell yeah, you go find your good friend Crumrack. And you find him. He is currently in one of the many training rooms in the guild hall. This particular training room is a long, narrow room, obviously meant for like fencing training, but he is not using it like that. Like, it is him. Crumrack is a dwarf. Um, Completely bald up top, long braided, bedazzled beard in the front.
Out of my head, that's exactly what I was picturing.
He is shirtless except and he is wearing plain trousers, boots, and like a weightlifting belt. And his entire upper half is just covered in like blackout tattoos, tribal stuff. And probably half of the actual skin that you see on him that isn't blacked out or part of a design is scars that have cut through his tattoos and screwed them up somehow. Um but yeah, so the dude almost looks like he's wearing a shirt, but it's all scars and tattoos. Um and he is wielding a a dual-ended great axe.
That's badass.
And he is sparring with another individual. This individual you do not recognize, but he is a similarly built, very heavy, very muscular. But the individual that you do not recognize is actually a Goliath. So maybe a little more than double Crumrack's height. And the
So
two are sparring.
they're sparring. Okay. Do they look like they're almost done, or like if they're just kind of going until one of them drops?
You give it a minute or two, and you've definitely been noticed having entered the room. Um, and the Goliath is able to take take advantage of an opportunity when Crumrack breaks his concentration momentarily to regard you, to like, not to say anything, but he kind of looks in your direction to just give you a nod that, yes, I know you're standing there, I'm almost done. And at that moment, the Goliath, who is wielding a glaive, with almost like a like a shepherd's hook on the opposite end of this glaive, just hooks Crumrag's leg and yanks him, and because the Goliath is so tall, actually yanks Crumrag up off of his feet, and Crumrag lands hard to the ground on his back, wind knocked out of him. But after a moment of lying there motionless, Crumrag just slams his hands down on the concrete floor and shouts, "That was awesome!" and hops up to his feet.
When I see him, like, when he yells out, she'll kind of like make her way down and carrying a cup of tea, but when she sees him slam down on the ground, she kind of like reaches into her pocket and takes out a flask. It's just an ordinary flask, not obviously magical by any means, and like tips a little bourbon into it for him. And she goes, "You look like you could use this. Sorry, I distracted you."
I can always use a drink.
Ah, indeed. Do you have a minute?
Of course, what brings you
The usual. Information?
in? Now what?
An individual. Perhaps a conversation better had in private, and she kind of like jerks her head towards the Goliath.
Um, he kind of regards the Goliath and says, um, kind of just points at him and says, "We're meeting for drinks later, right?" And the Goliath just nods and grunts at him. Um, and he says, "Yeah, just follow me back to my office, and we'll
She'll
talk."
follow. Yeah, she'll
Uh,
follow.
yeah, Crumrack's office is, so this particular training room is on the first level. Crumrack's office is actually on the second floor. So he leads you like back into the foyer, past all of the job boards, up the stairs, and it is just a long. The entire building is like shaped like an in an L.
Yeah.
And the front doors are on the cap of the short leg. Um, the and that on the second floor, then Crumrack has an office like in that corner, like at the front of the building. So he takes you into his office, shuts the door. Everything in this office is either stone or broken. Um, it is you. Crumrack is a he's a barbarian. He's the particularly he's a Path of the Berserker barbarian. So like he's just a big, angry, violent dude.
That's why he always gets a tea with bourbon in it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So he just plops down in this chair that has some cushion left in it, but the upholstery is all torn up and um like one of the legs of this chair is just missing and has been replaced by like a cinder block. And he says, "So, what's the job you're working on? You're looking for somebody?"
well, an invitation, really, to assist with a job down in the mine. What do you know about an individual named Rickety Hake?
Rickety Hake. And he thinks for a second. Um, he thinks for a second and says, "Yeah, I think I recognize that name. Uh, he works for. He's a and he starts flipping through papers, kind of mumbling to himself. Um, and he says he's a. I know I've seen that name a couple of times. He's a contract writer. Which guild does he work for? And he's flipping through this pile of scrolls and books and papers. Um, Gilded Society.
A
Yeah,
contract writer? What would he know about leading people down into the mines?
I probably. I mean, a lot of times when contracts get written for a bunch of those guilds, the writer is usually the adjudicator. So whatever the job is, he writes the contract and includes himself in it.
I don't know too much about this job. Sersha invited an associate of mine, Zilny,
Oh
to
yeah, Zill.
participate in this. Yep, great
How's he
guy.
doing?
Cranky as ever, but still a great shot. Either way, he agreed to assist with her job, but I don't know. Perhaps I've just been trained over the years to be too suspicious of everyone. It's just something seems a bit off.
That that is the curse of those with your particular set of skills.
It's true.
Um, I don't think we have anything on file with him or the guild or his guild that's going down to the mines though. You signed
Apparently,
anything?
no, we haven't. Not for this job.
Oh,
Uh,
well, that
I,
makes sense then.
yeah, We were told that in 3 days' time that we would be meeting Rickety at the Golden Expanse mines, and he'd be showing us down there. Any idea what type of job Saoirse might be on, or what she does
Uh,
generally?
I mean, a fair amount of the same kind of work that you and Zill find yourself doing from time to time. You know, nothing particularly spectacular if we can get away with it, but you know, it's investigations, surveillance, and a lot of that sort of thing.
Talia kind of squints her eyes a little bit, and she's like, if she's really like the gears are turning, but she's got a headache from the hangover, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of goes, "You know anything about any discord being spun between the guilds?"
Beside, like, you're talking above and beyond the shit talking that we all do about each other.
Oh, far above. Lula, you know, little gnome, mechanical dog.
Yeah, I think I've seen her around a few times.
We received a work order for a job signed by someone named G to root out the cause of the discord being spun between the guilds with a suspected person from the Forge Master's temple behind much of it. And given what you just said, that Rickety doesn't seem to have any jobs on file, and what we are on for Lula, I find myself wondering if the two could be related.
Well, the first thing I'll say is that if you haven't signed anything, then there's no contract. The second
Well,
thing is that if you haven't signed anything with Hake and his crew, then there's no reason for that contract to have been filed. So once you
well,
sign that contract and, you know, have a start date of whatever that assignment is, that's when you bring that contract back to me
it
or one of
wasn't
my lackeys.
lackeys indeed. Uh, it wasn't a contract for us. We were invited by a couple of others to participate in their contract. Whether anything was signed, I have no idea.
Well,
That's why I'm coming to you, Crumrack. You know everything that everybody's doing. You know I don't like
uh,
to go into situations blind.
and you shouldn't be going into situations without signature and dues being paid. That's what keeps this
Indeed.
whole operation running. So if you're not signing contracts, then you're not working.
Indeed.
So I'm gonna look into this Rickety Hake business and who was that other guy?
Saoirse?
No, the other contract that you and Lula are working on.
Ah, letter signed by someone named G.
Yeah, you got that letter on you?
I don't believe I have it. Lula still has it. It was sent to us just early yesterday before the forge blew up, actually.
Oh,
Um,
you were there for that.
you couldn't tell by the charred skin on my neck. Yes. Unfortunately, just as we approached, it exploded. We were told that some cleric of the Forge Master named Trallin Billowboots is suspected to be one of the folks causing all the trouble between the guilds.
Hmm.
and we were asked to get to the bottom of it. As far as I that's what I saw in the letter. But again, not my contract. Of course, you know, adventuring party, Lula, friends with Lula, we will all sign and assist with the contract, but it came addressed to her.
Well, I don't know about any kind of, you know, infighting or discord or whatever the fuck you're saying about, between the guilds, but uh if you why don't you I'll look into this business with Hake, and you go get Lula in this letter, and we'll figure out what the fuck's going on with this other job for this G motherfucker.
Sure. Just do me a favor, will you? And keep this between us.
Sure. Oh, and one more thing. You guys were at Phoenix Fire yesterday. You might be interested in the contract that came through this morning. Should be posted downstairs.
I'll take a look on the way out. Oh, admittedly, I have a headache today. A little too much imbibing last night, but I will definitely take a look at that contract. There's something strange going on, and I seem to find myself perhaps in the middle of it, and I don't know how fond of that I am. Brought you this to go with your tea, though, and she takes out a pack of oatmeal chocolate chip cookies and kind of sets them down on his desk.
All right. Well, I will definitely be digging into these later.
They were fresh baked this morning by Gwenva.
All right. Sweet. Well, is there anything else that you and
Grumrak.
Grumrak?
Not unless the guild wants to provide me with those goggles of night I've been asking.
You got any money to buy them with?
Some.
Do you have enough money to buy them with?
I've yet to get a quote for them, so I don't know exactly how much is needed.
You said goggles of night.
Yeah.
Do some I know it.
I know.
You need to get 3 quotes,
Yeah.
and if you're going with other than the lowest vendor, you're gonna need to provide a memo.
It's an uncommon item, I think, Dustin.
Yeah. Da, da, da. You got 350 gold pieces?
I will give you 11 gold, the cookies on your desk, and I will take that job at Phoenix Fire Forge.
You drive a hard bargain. Why don't we do this? You leave the cookies and cocoa on my desk. You get the fuck out of my office. And you take that job at Phoenix Fire, and if it ends up paying enough, you can come back and buy those goggles.
It's always worth a try. Don't pretend I'm not your favorite. She kind of just gives him a little salute and exits his office. And she will stop at the board downstairs to look at the Phoenix Fire job.
Sure. Make an investigation check. There are many boards and many contract listings posted upon them.
Ooh, that's a natty 20.
Natty
Hey.
20.
27.
You find it immediately. The so the listings that are posted on all of these job boards are not actual contracts. They're just advertisements. Um and you see one particular large piece of parchment uh that says Phoenix Fire Forge under renovation. Um and it advertises that a crew is needed to venture into the mountains to retrieve the fire of a phoenix, plain and simple. And it gives contact info. Scrolling back up to session 1.
Corlias.
Yeah, Corlias. That's the guy. Um, so it gives Corlias's contact info. You can find him at what's left of the Phoenix Fire Forge.
She'll take the paper advertising that down and kind of, I guess, make her way to see if she can find the other group members. Because if they're going into the mountain already, they might as well kill two birds with one stone, so to speak.
Okay. All right. So you take that posting and and set back off. Um, and from here we will circle back to Zilny and Lula. You guys were finally able to meet up. Zilny, you are armless.
He's one
Where
arm still.
you've been disarmed.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Fight me. So roll initiative versus the DM. A Tarask appears.
Rude.
That is mean. I would never do that to this town that I've spent so much time
Publicly
making.
created.
I've
That's why we're
spent so
going to
much
the
time and
mountains.
energy creating
Mhm.
this town, and so much time on Fantasy Name Generator and Hero Forge, naming and building minis for all of these NPCs. I'm not
We're
ready to
fleshing
burn
out
it
the
down
town, and then we're going to the mountains to die.
Yeah.
yet. Yeah. So yeah, where are the two of you headed first today?
Yeah. Sil just looks at Lula and says, "This was your plan. I was just tagging along."
Oh, brewery or
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Brewery sounds good.
busy where the patrons start, and then maybe by the time we get over, my aunt will. So I will lead Zill to Wilrick's brewery.
Okay.
Don't have a name for it.
Hold please.
Did a lot of homework, not that much. Sorry.
Sam, how do you spell his name?
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, Sam made
Oh,
Sam
Sam
named
also
this
did?
NPC.
I named this NPC.
So the rest of us have to play spelling bee. I've seen it in text, so I will abstain.
Appreciate you're not cheating.
Will
Oh,
I'm here.
oh, they froze. Oh, okay. Oh, there you are. Okay. WILRICK, but the CK screwed me over last time. Okay.
No, that's it.
All right.
That's it.
Okay.
You'll get inspiration when Dustin comes back.
So the gnomes use CK, the dwarves don't.
Dwarves.
Got it. Now
Do
I
the
understand.
But do the dwarves use C or K, or do they have like a preference?
I don't
I feel
know.
like
Did I blink into the ethereal plane for a second and miss
Yeah.
the last 30 seconds?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
you
Son of a
did.
bitch.
Yeah, we might have to pause at some point.
All right.
You should call the brewery Hoppy Go Lucky.
That's really good.
First, did anybody spell it right?
Rhodes did.
Rhodes did.
Okay, so Rhodes gets an inspiration.
Yeah.
I've been looking at brewery names, and I really liked Props to Hops Brewing Co.
Okay.
Props to Hop.
Props to hops. Got it. Yeah, I lead Zilney to props to hops.
Sick.
Assuming it's, well, I don't know. It's probably close enough that they're probably open.
Yeah.
Didn't you get up at like 11 some
Yeah.
odd?
I was like 10:30.
That is an accuracy.
That is accurate.
I mean, not really even get up so much as was woken up by
bark.
and a banging.
So she will let herself in through the, I feel like she's gonna go through the back, like the delivery entrance, the back entrance to this place. Which is
Okay.
not uncommon. And try and find Ulrich.
All right. You enter. Do- do- All right. You enter the Props to Hops Brewing Co. through their receiving entrance. In the back of the shop in the alley. You currently see. I'm gonna give you homework here. You see uh five adolescent gnomes, 3 boys, 2 girls. They are all exactly the same height. And I said 3 boys, 2 girls. They are all exactly the same height. They all have exactly the same hair, the same eyes, the same shape of the face. These are the quintuplets.
Quintuplets. And I'm supposed to name them?
Yep. You need to name 4 of them.
Okay. A later date.
Like
One
thinking
of
about those
them,
like old commercials for that toy.
Yeah.
one of them, Warser, Worser Pebble Gift. One of Wilric's children. And gnomes live a very long time, but these are all the equivalent of like late teens. Probably shouldn't be working in a brewery, but it's a family business and nobody cares. And what's a little child labor between family members, right?
I mean,
Sam knows what I'm talking about.
yep. Okay.
And I don't know if you have this name on your actual character sheet, so I might be giving you a brand new name right now for your collection. But Warser, first off, spelling bee, Warser.
Fuck. This is so wrong. I can tell you right now. WARSO.
That is incorrect, but you are devilishly close.
WARSER.
ER.
Damn.
That's an actual last name. That's the only reason I had that one. It's a real one.
Wait, that's not fair. That was real. So Worser, Pebble Gift, rushes up to you and says, "Oh, dog wrench."
Cringe. Not on my list.
And the dog. You hear one of the other quintuplets say.
So it's just like she goes, dog.
They were really little when I built Brutus, and they know me by, and she like pats like the tool pack on her belt, and then pats Brutus.
They really weren't, because
They really
Brutus
weren't.
is only like 3
3
years old, and a late teens gnome is still like 40.
Yeah.
Whatever. You
And
menace.
and Worcer says, "Why are you coming in and receiving?"
I wanted to avoid a commotion.
And why did you come in through receiving?
'Cause
And he kind of looks back at his 4 siblings just running around being havoc.
Where's your dad?
He's in the front at the bar.
Okay.
Probably polishing a glass.
Okay.
The same glass. It's always the same glass.
That's the trick. Doesn't have to change glasses.
And his eyes go wide like he just had an epiphany.
She'll move past them. Stop for a second. Look at Worser and say, you heard Uncle Wilrick talk about any troublemakers coming around? Other than you and your siblings?
He just starts giggling maniacally.
I think that answers my question.
Besides us, no.
Okay.
Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, when humans get drunk, they get mean. But I mean, that's it.
Okay.
I mean, that's why we have. I mean, that's why Loxam sticks around.
I know Loxam.
He's an orc.
Bouncer.
The bouncer. Yeah.
I will pull one of the. Where is it? Yeah, the little I think it was a bird. Whatever I was tinkering with at the Dire Keg. It was like
Okay.
a hop toy where like you
Yeah.
spin it and like you crank it and it hops across the table.
I thought it was like a frog or something.
It might have been it was a frog. I pulled that out of my pocket because it should still be alive for another like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I hand it to Corsair and I say, it's gonna break later tonight, but here.
Sweet. He winds it up, immediately overwinds it.
Just be careful. Don't overturn it.
He immediately overwinds it, sets it down, and the thing just like shudders and falls forward. It doesn't actually hop. But you hear you hear all of the tension release. And he tries to wind it up again, and the second time he doesn't overwind it, and it actually starts hopping.
Gentle is delicate.
Your face is delicate.
Your face is delicate.
Prove it.
You don't want me to prove it.
That's right. He goes back to the hopping toy.
Yeah, I'll move past them and go into the front.
Okay. You see your Uncle Wilrick polishing a glass. It appears to be the only clean glass in the whole place. But it appears to be the only glass in this place. All of the other drinking receptacles are like stone, not like stoneware like china, but they're just like stones. Um, and he kind of turns to the three of you as you enter the front bar part of the business, and he says, "Oh, Lula and Brutus, what brings you by?"
Well, Wilrick, this is my friend Zilney.
Zilney, it is a pleasure.
Zil just put his hand out to shake.
And two-handed, vigorously shakes your hand.
And it puts Zil slightly off kilter because without his arm on, his balance is a little his center of gravity is just a little bit off. He's used to the weight of the arm, so he's like, "Oh, okay." He just kind of looks at Lula, like,
Kind of nods, like, yeah, yeah.
Zil, you have a number of family members who are this kind of, excitable, and it's a gnome thing.
yeah. And when's the last time I talked to any of those guys?
I mean, I'm not saying that you're supposed to enjoy the experience. I'm just saying that you shouldn't have been surprised.
Fair.
She'll hop up onto one of the stools.
Okay.
And say, and she'll lean over, kind of looking around. Is there anyone here, or is it just Rick?
It's still pretty early in the day.
Yeah.
So there's nobody coming in yet. It's mostly Wilric up front, like getting the place ready for lunch, such as it is.
She'll say, I wanted to ask you a couple questions on the
Sure.
on the down low.
Coming to your friendly neighborhood barman for the gossip.
Coming to my favorite uncle who happens Stoneblood.
And he like so he's got this glass in one hand and a rag in the other. And he like kind of like shakes the rag at you and says, "Now listen here, young lady. Flattery will get you everywhere."
That's what I thought. Between you and me, have you heard any? She's like, she kind of tries to like keep it a little casual. Like, have you heard anything with any of these Stonebloods about some? Oh no, problems, unrest, not the usual like territorial shit talking or anything. Anything out of the ordinary?
I mean, guild dues are going up. Does that count?
No, I mean like between guilds.
Oh.
Like if I sit around my guild, all I'm gonna hear is dragon steel bitching or deep armory bitching. But
I mean, that's what you get for joining the rat catchers.
she'll stick her tongue out.
I didn't join them. And he thinks for a second and says, "Well, I don't. To be entirely honest, I don't spend a whole lot of time like at the guild hall or anything like that.
Yeah, but you own a bar. Somebody's had to have had something. No fights lately? We talk, you know.
It's a bar, of course. There's fights.
Yeah, but like
that's what Loxham's for.
Talking to Loxham? I can go talk to Loxham.
Loxham's an idiot.
Is Loxham deep armory? This is Sam. Is Loxham deep armory?
Probably.
Okay.
To be muscle, like so if you're like a bouncer or you are like a guard, like a private contract guard, not like a cop, you could be in deep armory and take contracts for essentially any of the guilds. So it's very common for bodyguards and bouncers to be deep armory and then be subcontracting out to the other guilds.
Right.
You could just be muscle tied to a specific guild, but if you're if you're a bouncer for the Stoneblood Guild, you are a bouncer in a bar. That's kind of it.
Yeah, you can't really go anywhere else.
In that regard, it's kind of limiting, which is why the Deep Armory kind of has that division. They're not just the cops and the city guardsmen.
Okay.
We're also the best.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you're the best. Because you have being in the Deep Armory Guild.
Tons of freedom.
Yeah, it gives you that kind of flexibility.
Nothing, no gossip, nothing you've overheard?
Well, there was this one guy. I'm trying to remember. He was complaining about some kind of job his boss was having him do. I don't remember what guild he was with. I think he mentioned barrel shields at one point. Something.
Yeah. Yeah, halfling.
No. It wasn't a halfling. Definitely bigger than a halfling. He was a dwarf, probably. He was either a dwarf or the biggest damn gnome I've ever seen.
Dwarf or big gnome. Thinking about a job his boss having him do?
Yeah, I was just. And, at first I didn't think too much of it because everybody complains about their bosses. That's what I'm here for, to, you know, be a be an ear that people can unload on, and then I just forget all that shit because none of it actually matters. But this guy was so animate that whatever this job was, and he wouldn't say what the job was because everybody's in here and they're saying, "Oh yeah, I've got to do this thing and this thing sucks." Um, but he wasn't actually saying what the job was. He was just saying, "Oh yeah," and working for whoever the hell he was working for. He's such a prick or something like that.
All right, well, I'll look to Zill. I mean, we could always come back here later. Did it last night. Sit and if he comes back.
Fair enough. If Philia hasn't found anything else, then I think that's a solid plan.
Sure, Elia especially won't turn down taking out in a bar. All right, well, Wilrick, always a pleasure, but I've got some other stops I gotta make. If I
Yeah,
come back,
well,
I appreciate your
and
help.
anytime you want to come back and have a drink, you're free to use the front door too.
I was never mind. She will reach into
Mm-hmm.
her pocket and pull out a silver,
Okay.
slide it across the bar, um, and say, "Thanks for the information." Um,
Okay.
what's with that? Thanks for the information. Don't tell mom and dad I was.
I never do.
That's why you're my favorite.
Damn right.
She'll hop off the bar and say, oh, and I gave your kids a mechanical frog. That's probably gonna. Okay, maybe not.
It's probably already broken.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem.
I thought I was your favorite.
You are my favorite.
Well. Alright, and you guys hop off and on to your next appointment then?
On to our next place.
Okay.
Yep.
And with that, we are going to call it for the evening. So yeah, we will pick this up. We won't be on next week, Wednesday. Next Saturday, we have Extra Life Part 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
So we're going to do another longer stream, not quite the 25 hour. But we're going to be playing some games, getting some more fresh faces over here, and that sort of thing. So check us out noon Central Time next Saturday, the 30th. And yeah, otherwise, no Wednesday Night Dice next week.
No
But
co-op
we will
Sunday
be back.
this Sunday.
And no co-op Sunday this Sunday.
Next.
Yes. So the next stream, the next time you will see us is next Saturday.
Yeah.
So until then, be excellent to each other and we will see you then.
Bye, friends.
Okay, bye.